Can fried foods be consumed healthily? Can I continue to enjoy my favorite dishes without harming my health? What real impact do air fryers have on your cooking and your blood tests? Are they a good option, or are they making you waste your money? First, let's remember what an air fryer is and how it works. Air fryers are appliances that use constantly circulating hot air at high temperatures to cook food. They use an electric heat source and a fan and promise the same results as traditional frying, but without using oil. They have a powerful marketing strategy behind them, and now we will see throughout today's video whether or not they fulfill these promises or to what extent they fulfill them. Look, the first thing that has to be very clear to you is that the term air fryer is an oxymoron. Air fryers do not fry. In fact, they are much more similar to an electric convection oven, or if you push me to a hair dryer, than to a fryer. Frying, by definition, is using high temperature fat to cook food. If the term fryer is used, it's because commercially and from a marketing point of view, they want to paint in our heads a gadget that manages to fry in a healthy way. No, it doesn't fry. Let's recall the potential serious issues of frequently consuming fried foods. Something that is the main justification, I would say, to be able to use or buy an air fryer. To remember the downsides of fried foods, we must remember what the smoke point is. The smoke point is the temperature at which the thermal stability of a fat is lost, and therefore that fat begins to decompose, releasing compounds such as acrolein, which are clearly oxidants, some carcinogens, and that give the fried food smell that many people like so much. The smoke point is so named because it precisely coincides with the point at which smoke appears when the temperature of a fat is raised. The point at which the fat burns, if that makes it easier to understand. During the heating process of a fat, the so-called Maillard reaction occurs, which is a non-enzymatic glycosylation of proteins. These reactions flavor the food and give the typical toasted appearance to fried foods. In addition, they give that characteristic smell that we like so much about fried foods. For this reason, in order for the food to be toasted in the air fryer, oil must be added without fail. First deception, oil-free frying. Therefore, the potential benefit is not in eliminating the oil, but in reducing it considerably. And why are fried foods bad? Well, first because, as we've said, they release pro-oxidant and carcinogenic substances into the food if we exceed the smoke point of the oil we're using. To prevent this, know the smoke point of each oil. However, you can't control this when dining out. I am sure you don't go into the kitchens of the restaurants you visit and ask the chef what temperature he's frying the fried fish or whatever he's frying at. Second point, the release of acrylamides potentially carcinogenic when we fry starches, potatoes, flours, doughs, which is often the case. They also have a high palatability, which is going to make us eat more energy, more calories. They also greatly increase the caloric content of the food in question, because fat is high in calories and we're drenching food in it. Lastly, they trigger numerous digestive issues. They are quite difficult to digest, often causing abdominal bloating, abdominal pain in the hours after eating fried foods. I'm sure you've experienced this at some point. See you there. Let's now look at the advantages of the air fryer before looking at its disadvantages. The clearest advantage is less use and consumption of oil. This would be the main advantage of air fryers. In people who want to decrease their body fat percentage or who consume fried foods practically daily, an air fryer, always in quotes, will significantly reduce the caloric intake of the diet. Is it healthier in this sense? We'll discuss this later. However, if you often eat fried food and switch to an air fryer, you're not solving the problem, just mitigating it. And if on the other hand you fry very rarely, for example once or twice a month, then buying an air fryer is nonsense. Second benefit, fried foods will feel better to you by greatly reducing the fat content. In this sense, people who enjoy fried foods a lot but never consume them due to digestive problems could find air fryers useful. Third point, it not only fries, it also bakes. There are models that combine electric oven and air fryer technology with which you can equally make a roast chicken or pseudo-fried potatoes. There are some foods that turn out very well in the air fryer. For example, it is very good for snacks like yucca chips and also other vegetables that become crispy and very good. And obviously, these snacks are healthier than the typical fried potatoes that can be a very suitable alternative for your children or for yourself. While it's variable, the average cost of an air fryer is approximately 100 euros, but cheaper options exist. Depending on the number of times you fry per week, you're going to save or you're not going to save. In terms of oil, you will spend much less, especially if you fry with olive oil and if you change the oil with each frying, which is recommended. And in terms of electricity, you will spend the same or a little more with air fryers compared to a conventional fryer. Its multifunctionality is also beneficial. In small houses where you don't have space for an oven, you can have an air fryer and oven at the same time, which are also in quite reduced sizes. And finally, yes, they are very easy to use and usually come with a recipe book so that even the most incompetent in the kitchen can make some simple dishes. And now let's look at the drawbacks of air fryers, and we'll try to be as objective as possible. How healthy an air fryer is will simply depend on what you put inside it. Therefore, we cannot say that cooking with an air fryer is always healthy. If you put in pre-cooked pizzas or frozen potatoes, it won't be healthier, don't fool yourself. In fact, many of these pre-cooked foods already have vegetable oils added in the food itself. Frozen potatoes, dumplings, breaded fish. In fact, they turn out the best precisely for that reason, because they are already pre-fried, but they are still ultra-processed. Whether you make them with conventional frying or with an air fryer, they are unhealthy. That's it. But Borja, isn't it better to eat them made with an air fryer than with a conventional fryer if I'm going to eat them anyway? Well, if you frequently consume this type of pre-cooked products, there won't be a big difference in your health. Also, if you purchase potatoes, peel them and use an air fryer. And also, the marketing of air fryers can confuse you and lead you to consume them in larger quantities, as I tell you at the end of the video. When we associate something, some novelty, with a healthy aura, we usually use it more frequently. Another con is the device's size. At least for me, if you already have an oven and you already have a conventional fryer, adding another gadget to the kitchen can be a real nuisance. And most are not small appliances, they take up a good amount of space. Another drawback, many oil-free recipes contain oil. This is because to minimally brown and give it a crispy and appetizing exterior appearance, small amounts of oil are needed for the so-called Maillard reaction to occur. Another negative aspect, only very fatty meats or fish like salmon will turn out well. The rest will turn out extremely dry. The hot air first dries out the outer layers of the food, then the internal moisture contained within the food moves towards the already dry outer layers. And it will dry out again because hot air will pass around it again. Finally, what we have is a completely dehydrated food. Therefore, only if the food naturally has some fat, like in the case of salmon or fatty cuts of meat, will it remain minimally juicy. This correlates with the reality that the taste, color, smell, and texture of fried foods are distinct regardless of what is advertised. It dehydrates food more without oil, which can make it drier, a feature that may or may not be appealing, but generally they don't taste as good as fried foods. This is an objective view. I'm not claiming it's bad, but don't expect the fries to be the same as traditional ones. Another little problem is that there is usually not a uniformity in the cooking, so you have to put the fries or whatever you want to fry evenly or as evenly as possible, because if not, some will be very exposed to the hot air and others will not. This is why often some potatoes turn almost black and others remain completely pale. This is crucial. Acrylamides will still be produced, but in lesser amounts. The temperatures that are used are still very high, sometimes even higher than in traditional frying, even exceeding 200 degrees Celsius. They consume more electricity than classic electric fryers. It depends on how you use it, as this can become an additional expense or not. They consume more time than conventional fryers, a few more minutes on average for each recipe. Now that's for sure, they are faster than the conventional oven. But if you bought it to save time, well, you won't end up saving much time. And now a final thought, should I buy an air fryer or not? Are they healthy or not? Well, you see, there isn't a single answer here, as you can understand. If your only motivation to buy it is health, I have to tell you that air fryers are neither healthier nor less healthy. That will depend on what you put in them and how often you consume the food you put in it. But the reality is that we don't usually use it, as I say, to cook vegetables or yucca chips. We usually use it to eat French fries, pre-cooked products, dumplings, or breaded chicken. And those foods are not healthy, whether they are with a conventional fryer or an air fryer. Moreover, as observed, high-temperature cooking still emits minor amounts of acrylamides and other compounds. Therefore, knowing this, act accordingly. If you tend to eat fried foods 3 or 4 times a week and want to reduce their caloric intake to lose fat, to lose weight for whatever reason, you can use it for that purpose. However, it's naive to assume that using your air fryer alone will enhance your diet. In many ways, we could draw an analogy between tobacco and vapor, or sugar and sweeteners, or conventional ice cream and real food ice cream. Is a plate of air-fried potatoes healthier than a fry-up loaded with reused oil? Well, yes, but if your usual side dish every night is fried potatoes, your diet hasn't really improved much. Consumption frequency is crucial here. And be careful, because the marketing of these products can make you think that certain unhealthy products are now healthy because they are cooked with the air fryer. Eating San Jacobos or croquettes every night with an air fryer won't enhance your health or diet. In this sense, don't buy it with a health justification, because it's not going to make a difference. What will make a difference is consuming fried foods sporadically, that is, greatly reducing their consumption. In this way, you won't have to spend money or time on these appliances, since what you consume sporadically by definition does not have a great impact on your health. So, when does it make sense to buy an air fryer? Well, as I say, everyone can buy whatever they want and with whatever motivation they want, but my opinion is that it makes sense if you don't have an oven or fryer at home and you like to consume fried foods, occasionally reducing the amount of oil used if you have a problem with overweight and obesity and consume a lot of fried foods and want to reduce their caloric intake without giving up these foods, even if it's not the best way to improve your situation, or if you also don't tolerate fried foods well but enjoy them. That concludes today's video on the advantages and disadvantages of air fryers. Share your thoughts, whether you've bought an air fryer and how you use it. I'll read your comments. A big hug, thank you for your attention, see you very soon, and keep empowering.